Aloha, scaredy cats, it's me, Scaredy Matt. It's the summer of Phantasm, folks. We're back here, sipping our margaritas and soaking up some of that summer sunshine. Put on lots of sunscreen, cause look what happened to me. Look what happened to me. I wore sunscreen, by the way, it just wasn't enough. Get all your pals together, but also 6 feet apart, and let's take a look at the chill, beachy vibes of Phantasm II. Once again, these videos are summer themed because Phantasm is a summer franchise, and I don't need to explain why to you. How do you make a sequel to a movie like Phantasm? A movie that ends with the revelation that the whole story was a dream, but then also that it was only half of a dream, and the main character dies? A movie where nothing makes sense and everything is ambiguous? Well, I don't know how writer-director Don Coscarelli would answer that question, but I know how Universal Studios, who financed Phantasm II, answered it. Make a completely linear and approachable action horror that takes the events of the first movie completely, 100% literally. Give everyone cool guns, throw in some hot babes, and some road trip buddy comedy elements. They took a completely unmarketable franchise, and in 1 movie out of 5, they made a glitzy Hollywood popcorn flick. The way these two elements conflict with one another makes Phantasm II a whole hell of a lot of fun, even if it lacks some of the impact of the original. Phantasm is a weird franchise for a lot of reasons, but one of the things that makes it special is that the whole series has had the same people working on it. None of the sequels are cheap cash grabs, they're all passion projects by filmmakers that just like working together on this campy little series with a weird cult following. That's why I think people take it real personal that in this movie, the character of Michael was recast from A. Michael Baldwin to James LaGrosse. LaGrosse's performance is fine, and by all accounts he was wonderful to work with. It just feels a little weird that the main actor in such a personal little franchise was swapped out. Universal told Coscarelli to recast A. Michael Baldwin and Reggie Bannister, both of whom had quit acting in between Phantasm and Phantasm II, and replaced them with more conventional actors. After a great deal of negotiation, Coscarelli was told he could only have one of these actors, and he wisely chose Reggie Bannister. No offense to A. Michael Baldwin, but you just gotta have Reggie Bannister, come on. Baldwin would return for all future sequels. Phantasm II opens with a girl named Liz who has precognitive dreams, and she knows about the events of the first movie, and she psychically urges Mike to come rescue her before her grandfather dies, and sets in motion a chain of events that will leave her in the clutches of the Tall Man. We return to the scene which ended Phantasm, so finally we're gonna get an explanation of how the Tall Man can be real if all of the events of the first movie were a dream, right? No, we do not. Instead, Reggie blows up the house and drags Mike to safety. 7 years pass. Mike has been institutionalized the whole time, and he fakes not believing in the Tall Man anymore to get let out. Immediately, he goes out to exhume a bunch of coffins. You know, like a sane person would do. All of the coffins are empty, strongly suggesting some Tall Man shenanigans. Reggie doesn't buy it though. He thinks Mike is just crazy as a bag of cats. Wait, what? Just a few minutes ago we saw Reggie blow up his house because there were zombie dwarves in it? Did he just forget that happened? Does he think that he himself is also crazy? Anyway, this whole plotline is immediately abandoned because on the drive home, where a bunch of Reggie's family have cooked up a bunch of food for Mike's homecoming, the Tall Man sends a psychic vision telling him he's gonna blow up Reggie's house. Mike warns Reggie a little bit too late, and the house gets exploded. But Mike predicted that before it happened. Reggie realizes Mike is not crazy and pledges his sword to Mike's service in a lifelong quest to destroy the Tall Man. They head out on the road, going town to town, only to find that the Tall Man has left them devastated in his wake. They bust into a hardware store and build needlessly cool weapons, including a makeshift flamethrower and a 4-barreled shotgun. Reggie also takes a chainsaw because, come on, you gonna break into a hardware store in a horror movie and not steal a chainsaw? In one of the towns, they find a trap the Tall Man has set up for them in an abandoned graveyard. Mike finds a dead lady on a gurney, turns around, and when he looks back, she's gone, and he's like, okay, I guess that's fine. They find Liz tied up in the basement, but when they pull off the sheet she's wrapped in, this happens.
You play a good game, boy.
We're told via an annoying voiceover that Universal made them add that it turns out that this was just an illusion. It's fine. Liz is fine. Anyway, they're driving around and Mike notices a lady hitchhiker, and she looks like that dead lady he saw earlier, and he's like, okay, you know what, that's fine, that's not a big deal. Then he wakes up, and that lady is in his car. Reggie picked her up because Reggie is always horny. And Mike's like, yeah, alright, that's fine, that's alright, that's not a big deal. And then she invites them to her uncle's bed and breakfast, and it's all boarded up, so they chainsaw their way in. Her name is Alchemy. That is her human name. So what they do is they booby trap the B&B with some Home Alone traps, and they leave Alchemy and they head off because Mike is being psychically drawn to Liz. Meanwhile, Liz's grandpa's fucking dead, bro. She's at the funeral and she stabs the tall man's finger with a weird pin she has for some reason, making him taste the mustard within himself. The priest delivering this funeral kicks ass, because the minute everyone is out of the room, he's like, yo JC, sorry dude, but I gotta stop this old dead coming back to life shit, and stabs Liz's grandfather with a big dagger he has for some reason, making her grandmother keel over in shock, and he never gets in trouble for it. Something I love about the Phantasm movies is that the minute anyone sees any of the weird tall man shit, they're immediately aware of the stakes. They're like, oh shit, an alien is making zombies. Clearly, the logical course of action is to kill that alien real fast. They don't waste time deliberating on it. They know what they have to do, just like a real person would in that situation. Anyway, Liz's grandpa comes back from the dead and he spooks the priest real bad while he's drinking Jack Daniels. Then he goes to Liz's grandma's place, gets in bed with his wife, and then when Liz wakes up the next morning, they're both gone. The tall man left a note saying to come get them, and a big pin she stabbed him with. She heads off to the mortuary and finds RoboCop's grave.
Nice shooting, son. What's your name?
Murphy.
Tall man is building a RoboCop. Sadly, this does not get explored. The priest is also investigating the mortuary, and there's this little tiny casket. Hey, what do you think the little tiny casket's about? Enter Tall Man. The priest tries to use his best friend God to stop the Tall Man, and the Tall Man chokes him with a surprisingly sturdy string of rosary beads, and then gives the best line in the franchise.
You think that when you die, you go to heaven. You come to us.
Damn, dude. Damn. The priest runs away and the camera returns to that little casket. Oh yeah, I forgot about the little casket. What's in that casket anyway? Ah, it's full of sentinel spheres! Ah! That's right, Sphere fans, the ball is back! Which was the tagline on this movie's poster, just so you know. Remember those wacky spheres? They're back, baby! It's sphere o'clock! So the spheres cut up the priest in a really disappointing way. Liz retreats and runs into Reggie and Mike, who take her back to the B&B. Liz and Mike are in love now because they have a psychic connection. Just go with it. Alchemy and Reggie decide to have sex as well, but they're interrupted when the Home Alone traps go off. Mike and Reggie rush downstairs to find out that they just blew up a cat or a dog or something.
It's like Kimmy's uncle had a cat or a dog or something. I can't tell.
This makes Mike briefly lose confidence, but Reggie reminds him that they're fighting for the memory of their families, which is, I don't know, it's a little sweet. Anyway, it's been 10 minutes since Liz got kidnapped, so Liz is investigating her drapes in the most obvious setup for a jump scare I could imagine, while some It Follows-ass music plays. Well, they gotta go get Liz now. They send Alchemy off in Liz's car and head off to the mortuary where the tall man's goons are gonna cremate Liz. Wait, what? He just wants to kill them? No special plans for the psychic people or anything? He just wants them dead? Really? Okay. Also, the tall man apparently killed Sam Raimi, director of Evil Dead. I don't really understand why he'd cremate anyone, because his whole thing is taking dead bodies and making them into slaves, but okay. It's a cute joke. Ashes, I get it. Mike finds a keyhole that fits one of the spheres that he decides must be a portal to the tall man's planet. New quest, get sphere. Mike and Reggie find the tall man's embalming device, or maybe a machine that injects alien goo that makes you a zombie. I'm not quite clear. Anyway, Reggie pours hydrochloric acid in the mustard so that the tall man can't reanimate anybody. Mike runs into Liz and then some shenanigans ensue with the spheres and goons. There's a new laser shooting golden sphere. blah blah blah, they get one of the spheres and get into the portal room. But then Tall Man is like, yo, hey, fuck you, get out of my portal room, and he tries to embalm Liz. But they get the nozzle into him and meltify him with acid. They burn down the mortuary and get picked up by Alchemy, who hotwired the Tall Man's hearse. Mike and Liz celebrate with some smooching. And Reggie's really impressed with Alchemy. She's like, ride or die. He underestimated her, and oh, fucking of course, she's a zombie. Movie, come on, that's not a twist. You showed us she was a zombie in the first act. What was the point of this? Mike's like, don't worry, it's just a dream. Sometimes stuff that happens in these movies is a dream. And the Tall Man is back and he's like, nah, it's not a dream though. The end. Phantasm II is big, loud, and mindless. The dreamlike atmosphere and eerie synth music of the first Phantasm is yeeted out the fucking window in favor of straightforward macho 80s action movie cheese. Frankly, I wouldn't have it any other way. What could be more in the spirit of Phantasm, the film that constantly subverts your expectations in completely inexplicable ways, than an abrupt 180-degree tone shift? And folks, buckle up, because it only gets weirder from here. Tune in next week when we discuss Phantasm III, The Lord of the Dead. But until then, go out there and enjoy this sunshine, all while maintaining an appropriate 6-foot distance between other people. Because it's summer, but there's still the coronavirus, so just be safe. Okay, aloha, which also means goodbye. Thanks for watching my video on Phantasm II. If you liked it, press the like button, why don't you? Why don't you press the like button for once? Come on, please? Also, you can subscribe to me, because guess what? I make new videos every 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesdays every week. I don't really make them at that time, that's just when I post them. I'm usually making them throughout the week, but that's the time when I post them. You understood, I don't need to clarify it to you. Thanks for watching again. Okay, bye now.